But this story, this is a recap of something that we
Oh,
talked about
right. Yes.
previously. So we did a few videos on this, but this kind of put the nail on the coffin.
Yep.
So we talked about Loop Insurance and John Henry Styles, the co-founder of Loop Insurance, who co-founded with Carey Nadeau, an MIT statistician, and John is a influencer, marketer,
Yeah.
entrepreneur. And they raised around $30 million to start this insurance company. It's supposed to be an insurance for good. And I was seeing in about 2023, I was getting DMs and emails about the
Mm.
cracks going on in the organization. So apparently, John and Carey were dating. So that's new
Yes.
information I didn't know. So you already know that's going to ruin the situation.
We will.
But
Yeah.
they were forced to do a liquidation, basically kind of like a bankruptcy. They
Mm.
were forced.
Yeah.
Now new information is coming out.
Mm.
John put out a video where he was very distraught. He could barely talk. He
He
could
was.
barely speak.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the video, it sounded like it's more to the story than y'all just couldn't raise money,
Right.
because his partner at the end ended up raising some money to steal his equity and buy the business under his nose. But there was some suspicion in the way
Mm.
John worded it. It kind of seemed like they tried to screw their investors over, get a clean slate. Once they couldn't raise the money, they figured out how to turn it profitable,
Mm.
and now it's profitable for them to,
Right.
but it wouldn't be profitable as a
And they had to keep paying back all of these investors.
venture-backed business. So basically, they did a liquidation, and at the last minute, she turned the gun on him and basically said, "Let me get this." So
And you said something to the point that when something like that happens, because they were both co-founders,
yes,
and so I remember you were saying that in a case like this, when basically one co-founder turns on the other co-founder,
yeah.
it's up to a judge.
Well, it's up to a judge. What, not necessarily a judge, but it's up to the person who's over the bankruptcy or the person who's over the
Hmm.
liquidation.
Okay,
So
like the
that's just
third
a
party.
third party.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's just a third party person. Now, if it goes to litigation, that would be up to the judge.
Gotcha.
But at the end of the day, they still would have to bid for the assets.
Hmm.
So, but what about the part when he started talking about how he was acting? Remember
That's
that part?
that's my so when I first you actually sent me this video
Yeah.
to watch, and what I kind of got from it, first of all, like you said, he was processing all his emotions in real time.
Yes.
And so I don't know if he was very cautious about what he was saying, but what he did take accountability for was that he ran this loop insurance kind of like he referenced like Silicon Valley, like he
Yeah.
referenced like it was just like go 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 work work work, but also he said that he had the final say on everything, and there's
Yes.
nothing that no
He
one.
ran it like a dictatorship.
Right. And there's nothing that no one could do to stop him. He couldn't get fired, and everyone knew it.
Yeah.
And so he took that accountability, but also felt, and you can see with his raw emotion, he also felt very wronged
Yes.
by how his co-founder was like, I already know that I'm not going to be able to work with you in the
Yes.
future. So when I said that, and here's the thing, I'm not the type of person to, pick sides, especially with business.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times a lot of people kind of have to feel like they have to do what they have to do.
Hmm.
But I'm like, well, what did you expect?
Well, I think it comes across as, and you're gonna laugh when I say this, but it's
What?
a lot of toxic masculinity going on. Because for one, he was dating her. So when you're dating,
This is a real life divorce.
that's basically what it is. He got divorced and his wife took all his fucking assets.
Yes. She took
This
she took the
basically
kids, the pets, the house, the last
this
name,
basically
everything.
is a divorce.
Hmm.
But he was dating her. So a woman submits to a man, and he's the co-CEO, but really he should have been the chief marketing officer. She should have been the CEO. She's the statistician. She's the person
Yeah.
that understands the insurance. She's the person that understands the numbers. He was more so a marketing success story. He can raise the capital because he worked at Harlem Capital with the guys from Harvard. And he sold a business before that. So he was an entrepreneur and he was a good marketing person. He had a show on Vice. So he was a lot more famous than her. He should have been the chief marketing officer. He should have did the branding, the marketing, the development, the message. Let her run the operations in the business. And I think as soon as I seen the co-CEO, I already knew there was a power struggle there, because why can't one person take a step back? Really, she's supposed to have been the CEO.
Mm.
And he didn't want to take that step back because he's the man, this is his girl, whatever going
Mm.
on. And like he said, he was running it like a dictatorship. He thought he was one of those white boys from Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
He was running it like how he read about Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs cussing people
That's
out,
what I'm saying.
closing people computers, firing people in front of everybody.
Mm.
He tried to be Steve Jobs-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And he got Steve Jobs, because this is what happened. Steve got kicked out
Get
of
out
his
his own
company.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he eventually came back. So
Yeah.
John got an opportunity to come back, though.
I think I was going to say, I don't think that this is the last we will hear from
Yeah.
John Henry Styles. I think the other part in this video that I want to point out is that he also acknowledged that he is not your typical entrepreneur. So when different investors think that they want to invest in his businesses, but he also realizes that business capitalism rewards silence,
Hmm.
and he has not been that.
Yeah.
And so he's also worried about the optics of, one, getting kicked out his own company, two, that he's not necessarily silent about it, like he's kind of telling the story, and three, that he has like taken, I guess, this like major public L.
Hmm.
So it's all of those things. And so he's like, kind of was like, oh, I can do a lot of things. I can like be a personal coach, or I can sell a course, but these aren't things
Yeah.
I'm interested in or anything like that. Again, I don't think this is the last we'll hear of him, but he is, I like that he pointed out it is going to be a challenge given that he is so vocal
Yeah.
about business.
Yeah, and then he talked about how like private equity firms or law firms or lawyers or a lot of these people that's making millions of dollars, they very apolitical. They don't
Mhm.
say nothing. They don't say nothing
Yes.
about their partners.
Right.
If they get screwed, they take it to the chin,
Mhm.
move on. Because once you get the reputation of yapping at the table,
Yes. Yes.
people stop inviting you to the dinner, right? If you
Mm.
always yapping, because what I tell you, wealth is stolen. So a lot of these deals that go on,
Oh
these dudes
yeah.
get ripped off. If you don't know, if you don't have litigation money and you can
Mm.
take this to court and do all of this. But here's the problem I think John has. He can't really litigate against it because he was in it with his girl, Carey, Nadeau. They were trying to rip off those investors.
Investors.
That's what he kind of
Like,
came off and said, like he feel like this is a little bit of karma to him.
because he purposely tanked it. Is that what
I
you
don't know if he. I'm not gonna put that in
that?
this. I'm not gonna
But
put the purposely tanked in there. But
but
basically, through when they was raising their funds, they looked at the worst case scenario and best case scenario. Best case scenario, obviously, they get the money. Worst case scenario, they have to do a liquidation. And when you do a liquidation, you liquidate the cap table. A cap table is all the investors. So you have angel investors. Let's say
mm,
James Hill. I don't have a venture capital firm. I'm not a private equity firm, but I'm a wealthy individual.
yeah, you
I'm on the cap table.
part
I
of that.
invest in it. So
Mhm.
you got John on the cap table,
Yeah.
Carey on the cap table, James on the cap table,
Okay.
and then EYL invested in them. So
Mm.
you got EYL.
Yes, that's
They're
true.
on the cap table. Then you got the dude from Essence. I forgot his name, man. What's the dude that owned Essence?
They
Um,
just recently,
what is his fucking name?
I think, switched him into
Let me. I'm a owner.
that. But there's a
Richie
lot.
Lou Dennis.
Okay.
Richie Lou Dennis has a venture capital firm. He was on the
Oh,
cap table. Other people that Carey knew was on the cap table. Other
got you.
investors, families, friends, whatever. So they realized, okay, we can't raise the money. So they put systems together to where they made it profitable without running the business as a
Oh,
venture backed firm. So
okay.
now, in order, they still owe all this money to
Money.
these
Hmm.
investors. So they liquidate the cap table and wipe it out. So now the
But they
new
still had a
entity,
different system. Got you with the new
the
entity.
new entity was going to take all the assets and the branding and liquidation and everything and put it in the new entity. But all the debts and all the
Would be
investors
clean.
get wiped out, right? So
Wow.
the only owners was going to be Carey and John.
Yeah.
So they looking at themselves, licking their chops. Oh my God, we rip. So basically, we getting all this money together now. It's just us two. Ain't got to pay no investors back. It's kind of like if me and you go and we rob a bank, or we rob a drug house or whatever, something we ain't supposed to do. And then right getting in the car, you put a gun up to my head, you take the bag of money, you take the guns, you take everything, and you drive off. Well, I can't really go and sue you because we cooked up this scheme together. So that's what.
Wow.
And I think, and I'm going to say this like this, John, I really think you should take that video down because that does not look good. If I'm EYL or one of these people, I'm suing. I'm sorry. If I'm one of these investors, and if Carey take this business and it becomes successful, I will sue the living hell out of both of y'all because that it didn't sound good. Now maybe you didn't. It didn't. You're emotional. You're distraught. You worded it wrong. It didn't come out that way. I was going to say that too. But to say you had some karma because you tried to get over on the investors, and then she basically checkmated your ass at the end and got over on you.
Yeah. That don't
sound right.
Yeah.